You are flying a kite with 20 feet of string extended. The angle of elevation from the spool of string to the kite is 41 degrees. So the first thing we have here is we have 20 feet of string, and this is extended, and the angle of elevation is 41 degrees. So right here for part A, it's just to draw and label a diagram to represent the situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the person. He's holding onto the 20 feet of string. So what we have first, this is 20 feet of string. What this is the bottom, because they want us to label the situation. What that is down there, that's the distance from you and the kite. And then this right here, this represents the height of the kite. And lastly, we have angle of elevation. Angle of elevation is right here, and that's 41 degrees. So we drew and labeled the situation. Height of the kite, distance from kite, and that's the 20 feet of string. And that's the person holding it. Because you're not going to be having it on the floor, typically, you're holding it in the air. So now, how far off the ground is the kite if the spool is 5 feet off the ground? So what this is saying is that you're holding it 5 feet off the ground. Holding it 5 feet off the ground. So we're not going to touch that until the very end of this problem. So we're first going to write out the 3 trig functions to see what we're using. Somewhat hippie. Caught another hippie. Tripping over apples. So the first thing we do, this is a right angle to represent a height, because altitude is always represented by height. We draw from the right angle. Opposite of a right angle is a hypotenuse. That means we're not using tan. The opposite, or that's our 20 feet of string. Then from here, I'm going to draw a cross, and that represents how far off the ground, the height. Okay, so we're going to be using sine, because the distance from the kite is not what we want to know in this problem. So we have here sine of 41 degrees is equal to the height of the kite, h, over 20 feet. So the angle of elevation, 41 degrees. Then we have our height, we don't know, but the hypotenuse is the string. So from here, the inverse of multiplication, or of division is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply both sides by multiplication. Or not by h, by 20. Cancels, we're left with 20 feet times the sine of 41 equals h. So from here, you just do 20 times the sine of 41. I'm just going to go to the nearest, I'm just going to go to the hundredths place. So we get 13.12 feet equals the height. We're not finished because we're holding it from standing up. So we have to add that 5 feet. So 13 plus 5 gives us 18. So the height here, the total height, is equal to 18.12 feet. One thing I do want you to recognize is that I would give you the answer if you just gave me 18.1 feet, because I didn't specify on your test. Alright? So 18.12 for part B, and that's for part A.